Hey everybody, welcome to The Chill Factor. I'm your host, Clint Reed. With me always is Jay Maiden, and this podcast is cooler than your walk-in freezer. So Jay, first of all, let me ask, how was Arizona?
It was great. Met a lot of people, made a lot of contacts. I think I signed up two or three more service companies. It's a really good trip.
Yeah, so you've been going to Cefesa, what, a couple of years now,
Yeah,
right?
this is my second year.
Yeah, you didn't always go, but you
No,
started going and it's been a good experience. So,
absolutely.
yeah, good. Saw your expense report, looked like you had a good time. So Jay, tell me, what is in your inbox today?
Thermal brakes.
Thermal brakes. I've heard of this, but for those in our audience that may not know what a thermal brake is, why don't you give us a good definition of it?
Sure. So, in a floorless application, and by that I mean we're not supplying insulated floor panels, it's just going to be sitting, the walk is going to be sitting on a concrete slab, so to speak. In a freezer application, you really need a break between the minus 10 degree internal temperature in the kitchen floor, which is 75, 80 degrees. If you don't have that break between the concrete, you'll actually get transfer, thermal transfer. And I got a pretty good picture of what it looks like. So this is on all of our drawings that have a floorless application in a freezer. And you can see the concrete. This is the wall panel sitting on top. You can actually see the wood, 2x8. It says redwood, which is less prone to rot. We can also use pressure treated 2x8. And then
But
you
it's
usually
always going to be wood, right?
It needs to be wood, yes.
Yeah, always needs to be wood.
Yeah. You normally have 4 inches of R28 slab urethane go down first, and then at least 2 inches, but normally it's 4 inches of concrete on top of the insulation. And that actually stops the cold transfer from the inside freezer out to the kitchen, which is warmer. So a good picture of what a good thermal break looks like is here. You can see the concrete slab on either side of this wood, and it's level. It's not below grade or above grade. It's actually level with both pieces of concrete inside and outside the freezer. This is what you're looking for. This is what you want to see. If you don't see this, you should not install the walk-in.
Yeah, so when when an installer gets to a job site and it's, floorless, they should be able to walk on that concrete slab and they should be able to see that right there.
The entire perimeter of the freezer, you should see wood. If you do not see wood, the continuous perimeter of the walk-in, do not install the walk-in. They need
Yeah.
to fix it. Or
And
I got plenty of pictures of what.
yeah, well, I was going to say, if you don't see that and you don't have floors, then you need to raise a question and say, hey, why is there no thermal break, or where are the floors, right?
Correct.
I mean, one of the two.
So
But you won't
here's
see
a,
that on a cooler.
well, it depends. I mean, if cooler's cold enough, like a beer cooler, you get down to 30 degrees. If it's below freezing, it is recommended, yes.
Okay.
It's also recommended for coolers. It's not necessary, but it does
Yeah,
help.
it's not
in
going to
cooler.
hurt anything to
Right.
do that.
You
Okay.
may make your cooler run harder than it really has to, because you're going to get warm floors in the kitchen, thermal transfer into the cooler space, so it may make it work a little bit harder not having that thermal break. So
Okay.
here's an outdoor slab, and you can see where the wall panels were supposed to be. The installer went out and laid it out and drew it out where the walls are going to end up, and you can see how they missed it. And so they asked me, well, can I install that? Is that close enough? And I said, no, you cannot. So in this case, they had to bust up the slab and start all over again. So, I mean, that's not a 5-minute process either. I mean, it's several weeks for them to tear it out and re-pour it, let it harden and cure before they could do it again. So this install crew went out there to do this, and they had to come back 2 weeks later after it was done correctly.
Yeah, wow.
But again, they caught it, and they didn't install it, which is critical. Here's another one. My son actually sent me this photo. And you can't even see the thermal break. It's under plastic, and it's below grade. It's bottomed out. They put too much concrete, and so the concrete was actually above the thermal break. And again, he asked the right question: should I install this? And absolutely not. They need to fix that pad before you ever install the walk-in. This is a very good picture showing it's not an outdoor box. This is in a restaurant. Before they put up the walls of the building and everything. So this is how early in the process a walk-in is part of the construction project. This is the cooler. You can see the cooler before they poured the concrete, and all around the external or perimeter, they use 2x8 pressure-treated lumber, which is what they're supposed to do. But for some reason here, this particular partition wall, I don't know why they decided to use 2x4s instead of 2x8s. And you can actually see a gap underneath that thermal break, which will not work.
It defeats the purpose, right?
Yeah, it defeats the purpose. You've negated the thermal break. Even though the wood is there, and after they pour this slab, it's going to look like it's correct.
Yeah.
And you'll see the thermal break, but that you're going to get thermal transfer underneath that, which is why you want going all the way down to the insulation. And in this case, they didn't. But again, they caught it, and they sent it to us and asked what should they do, and of course we tell them you tear that out, make it 2x8 instead of 2x4.
Yeah.
So,
much easier to fix it there than
right. That would
afterwards.
have been a huge costly mistake. If you don't have a good thermal break, this is what you can see.
Yeah.
Now that didn't take very long. This is only a couple of days. This
Wow.
is looking at a freezer wall inside the kitchen. Of course, the kitchen is 75, 80 degree temperature on the concrete, and that snow and frost just will continue to build. Right now, it's not a big deal. You probably sweep it away with a broom or something, but it's never going to fix itself. If you let it go unchecked too long, it turns into ice, like it shows here on this partition wall. So this is in a cooler, looking at the freezer wall. It will not fix itself, and if left unchecked, like I said, all these tiles are just popping up left and right because the concrete is getting so cold in this warm. This is a cooler. It's still considered warm even though it's a cooler. 38 degrees is warmer than -10, so it's still going to start causing this frost and ice to form and popping these tiles up. It gets so strong that it can actually heave the floor. You can see underneath the tile the concrete's actually buckling. It's actually lifting this walk-in up. And one final picture here just to show power. It's just like a hydraulic jack. It raises the entire walk-in up, and it actually buckled.
That is crazy right there.
Lifted
Of all the
entire-
ones you show me, that's the one I just kind of shake my head at. You just wouldn't think something like that would cause that kind of damage.
This is what happens when you decide to actually go ahead and install it anyway and think, that won't be a big deal. And it is a big deal.
Yeah, and that installer's probably long gone.
Oh,
You know,
absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
and the end user is just stuck with that, trying to figure out what to do.
And they ask us, how do you fix that? How do you fix that? There's a couple options. One is to tear the box down and make it right like it should have been from the beginning, which is very expensive, especially if you're in operating mode and you've got customers coming in and out and you've got product in there. The other one is we can provide a drop-in floor, and we've done it several times, and it does fix the issue. We had a Boy Scout camp up in Minnesota that they installed it on top of tile and grout as a floorless freezer, and it started snow frosting all around the edge and the perimeter, and they said, well, how do we fix this? And I said, two options: tear it down, make it right, or we can sell you a drop-in floor. And we shipped them a drop-in floor, and it fixed the issue.
Yeah. Okay. No, it's good stuff. This one went a little longer today, but I think this is something that I would say. How many calls do you probably get about a week? Would you say?
Well, we get 3 or 4 a month, so about once a week we'll get a call about thermal
where
break.
somebody's got an issue with this. So,
Yep.
And this is in any kind of walk-in application, so it doesn't really matter the brand. So,
Correct.
no, good stuff, Jay. Always appreciate your expertise and your knowledge. And so, for us here at Kolpak and the Chill Factor, thanks for watching, and we will see you on the next episode.
Everybody have a great weekend.